Hi there, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us here on this Thursday morning on Up with KREM. I'm Channing Curtis.
And I'm Tim Pham. A lot to get to on this Thursday morning, including the hot weather. It is feeling nice and warm, as it should be. It's summer, right?
True.
Meteorologist Thomas Patrick is in the Weather Center right now talking about today's forecast and what's ahead, Thomas, as people make some of their weekend plans for the 4th.
Yeah, this is going to be hot, hot, hot. And I was actually just referencing this to Channy. Do you remember last year's 4th of July? It was kind of cool, wasn't it? It was 66 degrees last year for 4th of July. It was kind of an odd 4th of July weather-wise, but this year is the complete opposite of it. We are expecting temperatures basically in the 90s today and through the entire 7-day forecast, and a lot of sunshine to boot as well. 63 is our low temperature so far this morning as we hit the 6 o'clock hour here in Spokane. Actually just increased by a degree in Coeur d'Alene from 63 to 64, and we see plenty of areas in the 60s right now. So a warm and mild start to the day, a lot of sunshine all day long, and that'll push temperatures pretty close to 90 degrees in what will be the third time we're in the 90s this year, and then we'll have a whole bunch more in the forecast basically from here on out.
Well, this morning we have more information on the story that we first brought you yesterday on Up with KREM about an East Valley High School teacher accused of trying to murder his ex-wife.
Police say 41-year-old Benjamin Hill shot at his wife while she and their daughter were sitting inside the Cheney Starbucks back in March. Court documents show Hill missed his shot and instead hit a random car in the Starbucks drive-through lane. While no one was hurt, this morning we now know the bullet came dangerously close to hitting the driver in the head. Hill was previously arrested back in May for allegedly shooting at his wife while she was driving to work. The East Valley superintendent told KREM 2 Hill has been on leave since his arrest and has not been on campus since then. Right now, Hill is expected to go to trial for both cases on August 21st. Right now, June marks the end of Spokane Unite's 90-day plan to address homelessness. To get a sense of where things stand, elected leaders from around the region met to talk about ways to move forward and help populations who are struggling. KREM 2's Brandon T. Jones is live in downtown Spokane right now. So Brandon, tell us a little bit more about this meeting and what the takeaways were. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Tim. Well, the major topic was how conversations from the past 90 days can turn into action. Action that'll eventually be able to help some of the homeless populations out here and people overall in our community. So yesterday, Wednesday morning, Spokane Unite leaders presented its recommendations for funding, staffing, and structuring of a regional authority on homelessness, housing, health, and safety. According to the 2023 point in time count, Spokane's homeless population grew by 36% just in the last year. Volunteers with Spokane Unite believe establishing the regional authority would decrease those rising numbers by creating better resources for those struggling. Mayor Nadine Woodward said the issue of homelessness needs to be addressed as soon as possible and with all of their efforts.
We need to be aggressive in how we address it so it doesn't continue to grow. Because we've seen it grow, as you've seen the numbers. Our unsheltered numbers have grown.
Julie Garcia from Jules Helping Hands told us that it will be a challenge to get to the root of the problem on that timeline, but it is possible. Leaders with Spokane Unite are hopeful that by the end of the year, the authority will be near operational. Several volunteers spoke about how the regional authority will be funded by the Housing and Urban Development Department, Department of Commerce, and the CARES Act. As conversations continue on how the region can address homelessness, Spokane Unite is also welcoming the public to give them any type of feedback on any potential ideas that could also help the houseless population. Reporting live in Spokane, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
It is 6:05 right now. Let's take a look at your morning rush. More news in less time. East Central community leader and activist Ivan Bush died on Sunday. His daughter confirmed the news in a Facebook post. Now, he lived in Spokane for nearly 40 years, and in that time, he served as director of the Martin Luther King Memorial Center and was the Equal Opportunity Officer for Spokane Public Schools. He was 73 years old. The U.S. Justice Department has launched an outreach program to combat what the Attorney General calls the crisis of missing or murdered Indigenous persons. The MMIP Regional Outreach Program puts 10 attorneys and coordinators in 5 designated regions across the U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland says the new program mobilizes Justice Department resources to combat the crisis, which has shattered the lives of victims, their families, and tribal communities. Well, police say that a homeowner and a burglar battled with a sword and a pitchfork at a Seattle home. On Sunday afternoon, police say a 71-year-old man came home to find an intruder in his house. He says the intruder tried to stab him with the pitchfork seen here on your screen. The man then went to the bedroom for his samurai sword and stabbed the intruder during a struggle. The intruder ran off, but police tracked him down and arrested him before taking him to the hospital. Well, as it continues getting hotter over the next few days, Meals on Wheels is now asking for your help in keeping our seniors safe. They need about 200 fans to give to seniors trying to keep their homes cool this summer. To help out, you can drop off any working fan to their downtown Spokane Meals on Wheels office on West 2nd Avenue. They're open from 8:30 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon, Monday through Friday. Well, check this out. A very dedicated Spokane Indians fan recently got a tattoo of Ribby, the red band trout. The fan recently surprised Ribby with the tattoo, and our favorite spawning fish was absolutely overcome with joy. This is super adorable. And that's a look at your morning rush.
And our weather today is going to be very sunny, but also just as hot outside. Our temperatures continue to increase and will probably push 90 degrees. Thanks to all that summer sunshine that is out there. High sun angle, it is going to feel the parts. And even those pop-up thunderstorms that we've seen the past several days, that action should be extremely limited for today. So I'm actually not including it in the forecast. I think everybody just ends up with a mostly sunny and hot day today. You see temperatures ranging from the mid to upper 80s in North Idaho, all the way to the mid 90s in central and northern Washington, and maybe even close to 100 degrees for the Tri-Cities today. And that is here to stay through the weekend. Saturday, a pinch hotter than Sunday, but pretty much right near 90 degrees through the extended forecast.
At 6:07 this morning, we are getting a look at the debris of the submersible that imploded in the Atlantic. New video shows a crane lifting the sub's nose cone and pieces of its hull onto the Canadian Coast Guard dock. The Coast Guard says they found presumed human remains among the recovered wreckage. The debris will now be turned over to investigators to figure out what went wrong. This comes nearly 2 weeks after the sub imploded during a dive to the Titanic, killing all 5 people on board. The sub was built in western Washington by OceanGate and was made of carbon fiber and titanium. In 2018, a group of industry experts warned the company about the dangers of experimental approaches to deep-sea exploration.
This is not a case where the regulations were inadequate because the person was just choosing not to follow them.
The people killed on board include a father-son duo, a French explorer, a British businessman, and OceanGate's CEO, Stockton Rush. The debris is currently being transported to the United States.